Hi guys, today we are reviewing something special and it is the Audeze LCD open back monitoring headphones. Now there's an interesting backstory to how I got my hands on these powerful professional studio grade monitors. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. Now this is the second high-end audiophile open back headphones that I am reviewing on this channel. The first was the Headphone 2 by HEDD, based here in Berlin. And you can find that review somewhere here on the screen, up here on the screen. So my foray into high-end headphones is only just beginning. For this one, the LCD-X, I want to start by saying a heartfelt thank you to Turan. Turan, if you are watching this, thank you so much for lending me this headphone and for letting me keep it for more than 2 months. I met Turan on eBay Kleinanzeigen, the German version of the eBay marketplace, where we sell and buy secondhand items. He bought one of my headphones and we exchanged further. He shared with me his love for headphones and high-res audio listening. So basically, he is an audiophile and an avid collector of headphones. And just like that, he agreed to lend me one of his collections without having known me or met me in person. He also sent me the Hi-Fi Man EF400, a DAC amplifier to help power the headphones during testing. Now, these are not cheap devices. In total, he sent me about 1,700 euros worth of gear. That is not only generous, it is inspiring. So for that, I want to dedicate this review to Turan. I truly appreciate. Thank you so much. Now, a bit of context. Audeze began in the late 2000s as a planar magnetic revivalist, bringing back a driver technology that had existed before, but refining it with contemporary materials science, tighter tolerances, and a clear philosophical stance. Sound as weight, density, and physical presence. Early LCD models like the LCD-2 and LCD-3 became known for a dark, lush, almost gravitational tuning. Deep bass, rich mids, a sense of mass. Then came the LCD-X in 2013. This marked a pivot. It was the moment Audeze said, "This is not only for listening, this is also for making." The LCD-X was conceived as a professional reference tool, designed to live in studios, on desks, in long sessions, without abandoning that visceral planar identity. It sits at a very specific intersection, that is studio reference, Audiophile-grade transducer, planar magnetic authority, mixing without translation anxiety. It is positioned as a primary monitoring headphone for engineers and producers, an alternative or complement to near-field monitors, and a headphone that can reveal balance, dynamics, and spatial decisions without romanticizing them. And all of this informs the build and the ergonomics, the weight, the large open back parts, the industrial feel. Let's talk about technology that directly shapes the sound. The LCD-X uses a planar magnetic driver. That means the entire surface moves together instead of pushing sound from a single point like most headphones. Why does this matter? Because it gives you control. Bass stays tight, transients stay clean, distortions stays low. And with the LCD-X, that control comes with weight. It doesn't thin things out to sound neutral. It keeps body, but it keeps it very disciplined. That's why it stands out. And that's why it became a studio tool. Unlike many studio headphones that chase neutrality by thinning the sound, the LCD-X retains body. The LCD-X also uses Audeze's phasor technology. In simple terms, it guides the sound waves as they leave the driver, reducing interference, preventing smearing. Why does this matter? Because imaging becomes clearer. instrument sits where they are supposed to sit. Space feels organized, not exaggerated. It's not about making the sound wider. It's about making it more precise. And on the LCD-X, that precision is what makes it usable for real work. Now, there's much more, but these two technological components, coupled with the physical design, are what makes these headphones sound the way they do. I use them strictly in the studio and for listening on Cubuzz and a bit on Apple Music, but also I used it to listen to podcasts, to cinematic content and all of that. I also did a live demonstration of one of my listening sessions. Next up in our listening session is Get Lucky by Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams. That one packs a punch. So let's go. Now, the first impression one gets of the LCD-X is that they sound super punchy, detailed, with forward presence, incredibly fast in response. So the timing of notes, even nuanced and polyrhythmic passages, is felt, full-bodied. Instrument separation is precise and analytical. Notes are well-rounded and resolved. Overall, the sound leans warm to dark, but the high frequencies bring air and headroom to the warmth of the lows and the mid-bass. This song that I listen to now, Sia, that is The Greatest by Sia, featuring Kendrick Lamar. You can hear all the nuances in the voice of Sia in those notes, in those high-pitched notes that she was going for. But immediately, Kendrick Lamar came in, and of course, the whole instrumentals turned around to favor his voice coming in. You know, that shift, that transition was just very precise, very beautiful, musical, and you can really feel it. The soundstage feels like a personal, compact studio, spacious, but not scattered. And those low mids, drums, you feel them in the guts. With these headphones, sound becomes tactile, an object-like wave coursing through the body. Music becomes experiential. You begin to notice how different parts of your body respond to different frequencies. Listening becomes tracing the visceral, somatic registers of sound. They are also incredibly pleasant for voice-focused content, podcast, film dialogue. Vocals are rendered with remarkable detail, pronunciations, breath, whispers, timbre. Everything registers. But this also means poor mixes are unforgivably exposed. A well-mixed podcast or cinematic track is joyfully rendered by the LCD-X. The beautiful thing about listening to music with such headphones is that it is no longer just sound, passing through your ears. It is very tactile in the sense that because you hear all of these notes and how they are separated and also how they come together musically, your body registers, and you get to experience your body registering different levels of notes and different texture of notes as they pass through your body. Sometimes, it's that bass, and you can feel it like a rumble in your stomach, or, something hits your guts. But every time the sound comes through, it registers in some parts of your body. So it feels like music becomes very sculptural, becomes very tactile, and of course, somatic and visceral. And it's just a wonderful experience. Now I begin to understand why some audiophiles just keep doing this, collecting headphones, going deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole of, better sound quality, high res, and, looking at all the technologies and all the advancements in terms of what goes into drivers, but also what goes into the acoustic chamber of such headphones. For instance, like my friend Turan, who sent me this headphone. Once again, Turan, thank you so much. I can understand now, I can appreciate, the joy that he gets from sort of like having like a listening, corner in his apartment or in his home, and having, to maybe come back from work, kick off shoes, maybe after dinner, and then just go into this journey of listening to, high-res audio. So my verdict is, at $1,199 US, I would love to own these headphones. Yes, they are bulky. Yes, they are power hungry. So commuting with them is not ideal, but that's not what they are made for. They are made for music lovers and professional sound creatives. And even if only for the wealth of high-resolution content available today on all the streaming platforms, no penny spent on these cans is wasted. So that's about it. Now, do you own the LCD-X or something similar? What has been your experience with them? And did I miss out on something that you think is worth mentioning? Leave a comment below. Let's make this a conversation. On that note, I wish you a lovely day or night, depending on your time zone, and see you in the next one. Bye.